If you're still doing cooking contracts in tier 3, you are seriously missing out. In this video, I want to highlight all the sources of Nobal polished crystals. These are required to upgrade your tier 3 weapons, armor and accessories. And this is going to be the main bottleneck, as getting those Nobal polished crystals isn't exactly an unlimited thing like we had with tier 2 and prior. You can inspect how to acquire, but it doesn't really give much detail. Yes, the new 4-star dungeons will drop them, and so will, at a tiny chance, get them while using your Abyss tokens. But let me tell you, there's a really good source, and that is now your regular contracts. These right here. They have a chance to give you, like this, 6 Nobal polished crystals. And if you have DaVinci's favor, you can complete this and get double the rewards. I have already done most of my contracts today, and we got over 80 Nobal polished crystals. I've made a bit of a spreadsheet here, and we can see all the different sources. So the actual best source is those resistance contracts. If you don't have DaVinci's favor and can't summon the contract manager, although you should all have it through Path of Ascension, at least if you've claimed these rewards, you can go over here in Harbour Village, and this is where he's located. We could obtain this one, getting another 6 when we have the contract rights tomorrow. There's this guy too, just be aware he'll give a little bit less solent versus the level 54 and 55 ones. So yeah, you want to go and do them, but it will take you a little bit of time, especially if you get ones which require you to kill enemies. But it is well worth that time with the sheer amount you can obtain. If you get lucky and you get all of your contracts on one day to give you those crystals, that's 60 in a day. Keep in mind, particularly from your battle passes, you can get extra contract rights just here. And if you have done Path of Ascension, this also gave us a ton of contract rights, like 10 here, 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 etc. You can then do your co-op dungeons, so you will get this recharge of Dimensional 2 tokens, and you can go to the party matchmaking, and I recommend actually doing the Dimensional trial, at least if that trial is easy enough for you. Right now it is. Island of Terror, super easy at tier 1, at least from all the groups I've found, and you beat that, you will open the reward chests, and you will get a total of 3 of these Nobal crystals. Times 2 is 6 per day. Add to that the Ascended field bosses. You can actually attend 5 of them per day. However, you sometimes will have the arch bosses and you're just better off attending these. And these arch bosses unfortunately do not give you Nobal polished crystals. But you can see with the Ascended ones, you get the participation chest, and this will give you that Nobal polished crystal. So yeah, you could get 5 per day, but I'll just put it at 4. Then you can do dynamic events. Now, I didn't really know how many to put here. I put on average 9 of them. This could be a bit too generous for some of you who don't participate that well, but just look here. On your hourly schedule, this is an example, and depending on what rank you get, usually it's easy enough to get rank 2, and then depending how many points you actually get in the event, you'll get a certain amount of crystals. You get 700 points and you're getting 9 crystals. This next set of dynamic events does not have one that gives the new crystals. Then you have 2 of them here that you have a choice. You can go to either or. This is another peace cooperative one where you can probably get another 9. It's that same dynamic event. Or you could go to Dominion and potentially get 10 of them. And you can simply check these. And there's usually 4 events per day that you can attend that gives those Nobal polished crystals. This one can give up to 11 and this one up to 20. Just be aware though, you have a limit of region contribution certificates. And if you check the default rewards, you're not getting any of the Nobal polished crystals. So we could actually more realistically just put this at 9. Since you're only going to get like 7 in a week due to these certificates. Then we have Gate of Infinity. So this rotates twice per week. Just check here the achievement rewards and you can get 30. So just do both of those, kill it within 3 minutes, and there's on average 8 polished crystals per day, a total of 60 per week. Then there's the Ornate Coin Shop. Yes, it's not a lot, it's just 30, and that's just 30 every month. which will average out to like 1 per day. Then you do have Abyss dungeons, but this is going to be limited on those Abyssal contract tokens. And you can see how killing the mobs here has a chance to drop them. And if you check quest log, the drop rate at least from here was about 1.68. But it's going to vary. Some have like 4%, some even just having 0.15%. So what I did was you get about 20 of these crystals in 80,000 tokens. And you maybe do one of those sets per week. So we'll just put it at 3 average per day. Then you have open world mobs. I don't realistically expect anybody to farm these because the sheer amount of enemies you're going to have to kill within these areas is not really realistic for the drop rate. Again, checking quest log, these earlier ones, it seems all around 0.2467%. So that's such a measly amount. You need to kill over 400 of these monsters just to get one noble polished crystal. So let's just forget about that. And finally, the guild treasure chest. Yes, it's been updated. It can actually give you some decent stuff now. But again, I don't think people are going to prioritize trying to farm these. It's just going to be something that happens when you get contribution for your guild, and it has certain drop rates, which again you can check quest log, and that's like here for the polished crystals. You can get between 1 and 5, but I won't put any direct number on that. So the total per day is going to end up at over 90, which isn't that bad, but again, requires you to attend all these events. But if you got 90 per day, how long would it take you to get a full set of armor when these growth stones cost 1 polished crystal each, 1 noble polished crystal, and the weapon ones actually cost 2. So I'll just craft those 85 for my day, and we can continue leveling up my tier 3 gear like this cloak. Well, if we look at the amount of growth stones are actually required here, you can look at the equipment upgrade rate, how much XP you're gaining, and the chance in order to do so every time you click, and the amount of growth stones it costs for that. You can find right here, going from level 6 to level 12 is going to be about 211 growth stones. You're going to get the item straight away on level 6 because what you're going to do is simply transfer your maxed out tier 2 equipment into it. Then you'll simply get that maxed out tier 2 equipment from the Path of Ascension right here. So everybody should have it easy, which means on average 211 growth stones per piece to get this thing upgraded. If you want to look at transferring a little bit later, say from level 10.85, it is actually on average going to cost you more growth stones, 213. And yes, if you do want to transfer at 7.33, you might save yourself like half a worth of a growth stone, 210.97 versus 211.11. So there's basically no difference, and you may as well just transfer from the start, because then you gain that big power boost with the item and you can slowly finish leveling it up. So we can then look at how many pieces do we need to level up? Well, keep in mind you're going to want heroic equipment, a weapon, an armor piece, and an accessory, which means you don't need a tier 3 item to upgrade for those, which leaves 5 accessories, 5 armor pieces, and 1 weapon. Keep in mind again, the weapon growth zones cost double the polished crystals. So this equates to basically 12 pieces need upgrading, with the total amount of polished crystals required equals to 12 times 211. Again, that 211 is coming right here, the average amount needed, which means we need over 2,500 of those growth stones. And if we're just getting 91 polished crystals per day, then it will result in 28 days to max out, which is just 4 weeks, and is honestly not bad at all. But that is, of course, doing all these activities. You can push it further, go for the nighttime chests, and do more co-op dungeons getting more crystals as well. But realistically, I probably wouldn't do much more than this, and you might not be able to get this many of your contracts to actually give crystals. Maybe only half of them do, and maybe you don't want to attend any of the dynamic events. And similarly, field bosses, maybe you don't go to any of them. Leaves 48 polished crystals per day, which is going to result in 53 days, which means nearly 8 weeks of farming. I still don't think this is unrealistic. And keep in mind, once you have an armor piece maxed out, that's it. You don't have to upgrade another piece if you want an alternate build. You'll simply just go to the sync slot, put it in there, and then you can put any other equipment adjacent to that in those sync slots, and it will be max leveled. A very friendly system for having multiple builds. The only issue is, of course, the legendary gear is not so forgiving, and the devs have kind of put their foot down and said, no, we will not be getting sync for legendary gear. They'll simply just be adding more and more ways that we can actually get those shards to upgrade legendary gear, and thus keeping the raid relevant. Keep in mind, you can reduce this day count by a little bit by actually getting some of the growth stones without needing to actually even craft them, like ornate coins here. You're getting 15 weapon growth stones, 25 of the armor and accessories. So already right there, that's effectively 50 plus the value of 30 normal growth stones, since these cost double polished crystals. The new battle passes are undoubtedly going to give us some more as well, of which we do get a new battle pass this week. And for a limited supply, the resistance goods merchant does sell you some as well. That's another 50 of each growth stone, effectively 100 polished crystals in the value of the weapon growth stones. And that would result in then just 47 days, about 7 weeks at this rate. But again, you could get lucky with resistance contracts, even getting more resistance contract rights, going to those field bosses, and going to at least that one dynamic event and performing well every single day. And then it results in just 4 weeks, which actually seems pretty quick. And that's not even accounting for being able to do nighttime chests to be able to get more dungeon currency to be able to run more dungeons. Oh, and I didn't even account for the trial accumulation point rewards. Maybe you want to do these and get all these extra polished crystals too. That's another 25 right there. But yes, just per week. So we end up with a full table like this. So yeah, that's about it. Do not miss out on doing your contracts, and yeah, you just shouldn't be doing cooking contracts right now until you have all those noble polished crystals that you possibly need. And you also will need some noble polished crystals if you're looking at obtaining some of these armor pieces like right here. It costs 12 to craft, even when using a lithograph. And yeah, it is a little bit surprising that they just went straight ahead and pulled the rug out of all these materials. What are we supposed to use them on now? Look at all these material chests, pretty much gone to waste. Well, I'm not going to trash them anytime soon. I guess I'll just save them until maybe they become useful, or they put an expiry date, and at that point, yeah, just sell them all for solid. So that's it for now. Thanks all for watching. A special thank you to all my channel members for your added support, and we'll see you guys around.